One of the most beautiful things about language is that each and every single language is unique. There are references to certain cultural phenomena or certain historical events, or even more like local attitudes, things like that. All of these can be reflected in language. And today we're going to be talking about something that's unique to Chinese, and that is the number, not even like a phrase, it's a number, 250. What does that mean in China? Let's talk about it. So let's start off with saying the number in Chinese. It's èrbǎiwǔ, èrbǎiwǔ. So there are a couple of ways of expressing numbers in Chinese, but this is sort of a short, easy way to say 250 in Chinese. But it's become slang for like an idiot. If you want to call someone an idiot, you call them an èrbǎiwǔ. You call them a 250. So yeah, how did that come about? How did this number become synonymous with being an idiot? So there are actually two possible explanations for why this is a thing. The first one's a little bit easier, and it goes back to Chinese currency. And way back in the day, China had these little round coins that had square holes in the middle, and they were made of copper. And so they had holes in the middle so you could tie them all in a string together. And one of the units, like a unit of this currency, was like 1,000, and they called it a diào. And a diào is 1,000 of these, it's 1,000 of this currency. And if you had half of that, they called it a Bàndiàozi. And some people, because modesty is a big thing in China, some people will kind of be modest and they would call themselves a Bàndiào or Bàndiàozi, which means like, yeah, I'm smart, but I'm not like all the way there. It's a self-deprecating modesty thing, right? And then, like if someone was really, really stupid, like actually stupid, they would say like a quarter of that 1,000. So you're like a fourth of the way there. You're a fourth of a unit. So you would be an èrbǎiwǔ because, a fourth of 1,000, 250. Ugh. But there's another story, and I want to talk about that one because that one's far more interesting. So way back in the day, during the Warring States period, there was a kingdom called Qi. And Qi is out in eastern China. I think it's like where Shandong is today. And there was a famous official called Su Qin. I don't know the tones of this particular guy's name. I just know like the pinyin. So Su Qin was this really popular, really famous politician who worked for the king of Qi. And the king and him were like best buds, right? Like they're really, really close. And throughout the course of his political career, he made a lot of enemies, kind of as you do. And one day, he just ended up dead. He got killed by somebody. And who's his BFF? It's the king, right? The king is really, really pissed off. He comes up with a plan to draw out the murderer because he can't figure out who the murderer is. So what he does is really smart. He comes up with this plan, and that is to kind of campaign against Su Qin, which was his BFF, and say that Su Qin was an enemy of the state and that he was going to reward the person who killed Su Qin. Pretty good, because who doesn't want money, right? Especially if the guy is an enemy of the state. So he puts this whole campaign together, and Su Qin's an enemy of the state, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to give whoever, killed Su Qin a diào. I'm going to give them 1,000 liang. And wouldn't you know it, people start coming. And not just one guy, not two guys, not three guys, but 4 guys show up at the palace and say, hey, what up, man? I killed Su Qin. Come on, give me the money. And the king's thinking to himself, only one person has done this. One person killed Su Qin, but there's 4 people here. What do I do? So he goes to those 4 guys and he says, hey guys, come on. Don't lie. Be real with me here. Be real. And all of them, of course, are saying, no, I am for real. All 4 of them just keep insisting that they did it. And the king says, awesome, you will get your reward. So I'll split it between all of you. So 1,000 liang, I'll split it up into 250 for each one of you. All 4 of the guys are happy until it turns out that they are executed by the king, because he didn't know which one actually killed his buddy. And he just said, you know what? I'll be safe. I'll be safe and just kill all of them. So bam, all 4 of them got 250 liang, and bam, all 4 of them got executed because they are morons and they got their 250. That's how 250 became associated with being an idiot in China. So it's a cool little callback to an ancient story in history. We don't know if it's actually true or not, but there you go. You can bust it out, you know, if someone's talking about Chinese history or talking about lucky numbers, unlucky numbers. It's a good little bit of trivia. And that'll about do it. Thank you all very much for watching. Please subscribe and click the bell next to that little subscribe icon. And also, channel memberships are open on my channel. So if you want to like support the channel and get a few perks, then you can join the channel. It's right there next to the subscribe button. Thank you all very much again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.